It's no secret. We currently have the biggest game of the season coming up in just a couple days. Okay? It's the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 58 between the San Francisco 49ers, a team that has looked absolutely astounding at certain points throughout the season, and they still look like a really, really threatening football team. Obviously, that's why they are where they are. And they're against the Kansas City Chiefs, a Kansas City Chiefs team that seems weaker than usual. It has seemed that way throughout the entire season. And it's such a different Chiefs team because it's no longer Mahomes and the offense being the key reason why they make it to the Super Bowl. Now, it's Spagnuolo's defense with a multitude of great players like Trent McDuffie, like Leo Chanel, like Tranquil, of course Chris Jones, plenty of guys, George Karlaftis, Nick Bolton. There are so many high caliber football players on this defense. But I want to make a video about one particular player, and that player is L'Jarius Sneed. Why him specifically? Well, I think that he is one of the more underrated players in the league because he's legitimately been the best press man-to-man corner in the NFL this year, and I think he is going to be the key player for the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. Okay? It's not going to be Mahomes, it's not going to be Kelsey, it's not going to be Chris Jones, it is going to be L'Jarius Sneed. Because if Sneed has a very good game, which I expect him to, they are going to really be able to go gung-ho, devote as many assets as possible to stopping McCaffrey and the run game. Now, I want to look at the film and tell you why I think L'Jarius Sneed is going to do a remarkable job clamping up Brandon Aiyuk or Deebo Samuel during the entire game, because he's a stud, and I want to show you the film to prove that. So right here, the Chiefs are going to have L'Jarius Sneed in press man-to-man coverage with Stefon Diggs. It is going to be cover one. This is a third down, keep in mind. It's going to be cover one. Everyone else is going to be in man-to-man coverage besides this high safety. And Josh Allen doesn't throw the ball to Diggs on this play. And the reason why is because despite Allen having time and Diggs having time to get open, Sneed just absolutely locks him up the whole way through. Let's watch the play run a little bit. Okay. Play starts up. Josh Allen is looking this way, right? He's looking at these two receivers right here. That's his first read, somewhere on that side of the field. Sneed is still stride for stride with Stefon Diggs. He didn't get beat off the release, which is important in press coverage, right? Because if you get beat off the release and let's say one of these guys sell vertical, grabs the safety's attention, now Stefon Diggs is going to be able to just get a touchdown, right? Getting beat off of the release in press coverage normally results in a touchdown for the opposing team, okay? Or at least a big gain if they have to work it under a safety. The point is, though, Sneed is still hip-to-hip with Stefon Diggs, ready to make a play if they were to throw that ball in, right? So now let's watch it play a little more. Stefon Diggs is trying to curve his route upfield. Now we have Josh Allen looking at Diggs, right? He's looking at him because, well, it's Stefon Diggs. Okay, I have time to look over at him. He's our big name receiver. You would hope when you have this much time he's open. But, I mean, he could, in theory, try and layer that in. But L'Jarius Sneed, he's really good at playing the ball. And you would have to throw a very, very accurate ball if you're Josh Allen here. The goal of a corner isn't necessarily to completely lock down a receiver. It's impossible to do. The goal of a cornerback in man-to-man coverage is to make the throw for the quarterback as difficult as possible if they are going to target the receiver that you are man-to-man on. And that's exactly what Sneed is doing. He is forcing Allen to have to really layer that ball in front of him, put it in the perfect spot, and even then, L'Jarius Sneed could still make a play. Okay. So, Josh Allen moves off of that. Look, Diggs is now trying to be a quarterback's best friend, make an extra cut. So, his route looked a little something like this. And now he's running inside just to try and be a quarterback's best friend, try and really help him. Diggs isn't going to get open because Sneed is still stride for stride with him. Josh Allen is going to try and improvise, make a play back to one of his primary reads. And because Sneed was absolutely locking up Stefon Diggs, Josh Allen tried to play hero ball. A story we've seen a lot this season. A turnover comes out of it. Yet again, the Chiefs are going to have L'Jarius Sneed 3rd and short, man-to-man with Stefon Diggs without much safety help, right? And Diggs is going to try and run a slant on him. He's going to jab step a little bit to the right and then cut in. He runs a pretty nice route here. Sneed is just an animal. Really, it's just that simple. So, this is a play where he does get targeted. Watch, Diggs is going to close the gap, and you can see he's getting ready to plant that leg and then cut back in. And this does get Sneed a little bit, okay? Right now, look, the ball's already heading his way. Sneed, in case you couldn't tell, let me rewind it just a little bit here. Sneed is in a little bit of a position right now against a quarterback that is really good at just zipping it in, right? Sneed is behind Diggs, and it's a slant route. He isn't going to have help from anyone in the middle of the field on this one. And Diggs is just going to try and catch a ball that Allen is throwing right in there. And he has a little bit of separation, enough separation to make this catch, until he doesn't. L'Jarius Sneed, his recovery speed is completely on display here, as he reaches from behind Diggs to just force that ball out. Almost ended up being a pick. Truly a spectacular play by L'Jarius Sneed on a crucial 3rd down. I showed you L'Jarius guarding one big name receiver, and he succeeded very often against him. Now it's time to see him go against one of the best receivers in the game right now, A.J. Brown. Right? A.J. Brown is just going to try and go vertical on him. They're not going to have the safety playing over the top here. It looks like he's supposed to be responsible for like a middle zone, and he's kind of just reading what's going on in the backfield, and then by the time the ball is thrown, the safety starts to pursue, but he doesn't really have an impact on this play whatsoever. This play really just came down to 2 people. A.J. Brown versus L'Jarius Sneed. And that's how Spagnuolo wants it, okay? He wants it to just come down to his corner versus your receiver. He wants to see that because Sneed wins that matchup so consistently, and that's the point that I'm trying to make. This is a 1st and 10. The Eagles are going to take a deep shot down the field. Sneed is in press man coverage. Once again, A.J. Brown is going to try and alter his speed throughout the route. That's how you beat cornerbacks when you're just trying to go vertical. Because you don't have opportunities to really work this fancy footwork, these cuts. No. It just comes down to running straight. And how are you going to mix up a opposing corner when you're just running straight? You're going to alter your tempo. You're going to start running really fast and then slow down and then run fast again. That can really get a corner. And that's what A.J. Brown has seemed to master, and that's what he tries to do. But he didn't do a great job here, as Sneed is right on him. The ball is thrown. A.J. Brown is trying to make an adjustment here. Ends up being in a position where Sneed runs in front of him, and the ball's a little bit underthrown. A.J. Brown grabs it, but he can't get his feet down because Sneed does what all corners are supposed to do in this situation. You watch. Look at how much distance is between A.J. Brown and the sideline right now. He has a couple of yards. But then as he gets further and further downfield, Sneed just keeps working him little by little to the sideline. And by the time the ball gets to him, there's not much field for him to work with, for him to get his 2 feet down. And that's why Sneed wins this rep. Spagnuolo loves to disguise his coverages. All right? And this is a defense that will run a lot of man-to-man. They're not going to run zone that often. However, they'll run zone a little bit. And on a third down like this is a 3rd and 5, this is a great time to throw in that changeup pitch and play some cover 2. Meaning that we're going to see 22 drop closer to the middle of the field. We're going to see L'Jarius Sneed have this flat area. And what's going to happen here is Jefferson is going to occupy 22 zone. And KJ Osborne is going to try and replace 22. Kirk Cousins hits him on the slant route right there. What they're showing pre-snap makes it look a lot like man-to-man, right? And then you have the 2 high safeties. Okay. And you see, specifically L'Jarius Sneed, in a very tight man-to-man coverage. KJ Osborne, like we said, is running a slant or an in-breaking route, whatever you want to call it. Against press man-to-man, that likely won't work, especially against a man-to-man corner that's as good as Sneed has been all season. However, Kirk Cousins doesn't rule it out. He does a very good job reading the linebackers and seeing, okay, that means they're going to be playing zone coverage. So then he looks back at L'Jarius Sneed, matching up on KJ Osborne. L'Jarius Sneed is walking back because he's in zone coverage. He's looking at Kirk Cousins, right? And that means that this route combination that they're working, where Justin Jefferson takes 22 out of the play and KJ Osborne runs a slant right under it, should work. It should, because like we said, Sneed is dropping back into his zone. It's very difficult for him to redirect and make a play on this slant route. That's why they were trying to make it look like press man-to-man coverage on this side, because they want Kirk Cousins to completely rule out the slant pre-snap, because that's what could kill them here. Kirk Cousins does a good job, makes the right read, goes back to KJ Osborne despite the pre-snap look. But the thing is, Sneed is an animal. Even when the opposing quarterback makes the right decision from an X's and O standpoint, it doesn't matter, because L'Jarius Sneed is able to make spectacular plays like this one. He was not in a great position to defend that ball. However, he still does a great job getting to the right spot and being able to defend the pass and prevent KJ Osborne from catching the ball on a crucial 3rd and 5. And this is the type of rep that you don't see a corner get too much respect for when you're watching the broadcast, okay? But when you look at the All-22, when you're watching the game from the stands, maybe Sneed won't draw much attention here, but this is what dominance, complete dominance, looks like from the cornerback position. Just look at the physicality that's on display on this rep right here. This is why he's the best press man-to-man corner in all of football. He's aggressive, fires directly at KJ Osborne, and Osborne can't get anything. He can't even get an inch on him. Sneed is all over him, and he just continues and continues. And look, KJ Osborne, still with no separation, is just now starting to get a little bit of momentum as Kirk is already releasing the football. That is dominance right there. Kirk Cousins has no choice but to completely rule Osborne out of the play on that one right there. That's a dominant rep by L'Jarius Sneed. I mean, just look at it. Fires directly at him, and he just completely controls his route. Kirk Cousins can't even think about looking at Osborne until the ball is already out, because Sneed just completely decimated him on that play. Like I said earlier, the Chiefs are going to have to devote a lot of their high caliber assets to stopping the run game and Christian McCaffrey. As a result, we're going to see L'Jarius Sneed on an island with Brandon Aiyuk, on an island with Deebo Samuel, and the Chiefs are going to trust him to win that matchup. And that film right there is evidence why Spagnuolo trusts him to do that. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like. Also, subscribe if you want more content just like this. And check out the links in my bio to hear more of my thoughts on this big game. I recently put out a podcast episode with my thoughts on the game heading into it. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all again in the future.